This is Rebecca Lowe, or Rebecca Lua if you listen to Suboptimal Radio, and you are listening to Men in Blazers on the NBC Sports Network.
It's unbelievable!
Welcome to a Men in Blazers Pod Special. My guest tonight may be the only English-born person who loves America as much as I do. Last month, he made headlines when Sporting KC traded him to Orlando City. A move that he said felt like coming home. For it was Jamlando that helped him cut his teeth as a professional. In 2013, he banged in 15 goals for your then USL Pro champion, Orlando City. Your Lions were champions, and if that's not enough, earlier this year, the gentleman completed, and I adore this, his American citizenship test. He debuted for the national team, scored twice in 3 appearances as the US men's national team marched to Gold Cup glory. We welcome to the stage a beautiful bloke whose coming to America success story will one day rank up there in the pantheon of Yentl, Prince Hakeem, and most probably Scarface, a gent who sounds English but is as American as Kid Rock. Remember, America, you can't spell freedom without D-O-M. The man who GFOP at Jeff Adams 2016 has declared is the anti-Benedict Arnold. We welcome to this stage the one and only Mr. Dom Dwyer. Guys, this is not Orlando Airport. This place has decorum. Dom, I want to say before we start, we love your story. It starts in 1990 in Cuckfield, West Sussex. Orlando City's future striker entered the world. You moved to Norwich as a kid. Describe that to us, East Anglia, Norfolk, to someone who's never been there. Set the scene.
Maybe a little bit like Missouri, a lot of fields.
Agriculture was the dominant trade. That was the future. Dom Dwyer could be either a professional footballer or a farmer. Those were the stakes. Now, I grew up in Liverpool in the 1980s. It was I'll be honest, it's in the world's greatest city, apart from Orlando. It was a fairly bleak place when I grew up. It was a politically turbulent time. America always shone brightly in my imagination, glorious technicolor. And the things that defined it for me, that lured me here like harpies on the rock, were Molly Ringwald, Ferris Bueller, Run DMC, Heart to Heart, The Love Boat, Different Strokes. When you, Dom Dwyer, think about the things that created the images of America in your mind as a kid, back in the old days, what were they?
The only thing I really knew was I watched the movie American Pie. So, I mean, that's what I expected. So I wanted to come to college out here, definitely.
Can we just raise a glass to pie? One of England's greatest exports. But as a kid, I'll be candid, I would kick a ball around my back garden. I scored big goals for Everton Football Club. I won the World Cup for England.
I did too.
In my imagination. You actually passed the ball to me. I scored. And I'm never quite sure if it was a real pass or did you shoot. I don't know.
It was a cross shot.
Yeah, you, as a kid, were actually in with the shot of making it real. I wasn't. What did you tell yourself was always possible when you were going through the drills?
I mean, I was just very passionate about it. It wasn't really another direction I wanted to go in. I remember I'm going to school, lunch break, you're outside with the football in your bag. I would only have a backpack that was big enough just to fit a ball in the back.
No books?
No books, no. Well, maybe if I had to have like a little notepad, but that's it. And then after school, you finish, straight into the back garden, how you want to say it. Just play for 3-4 hours till it got dark, and then do the same thing over and over again. So I guess I'm still doing that now at 27.
Thank God they've invented floodlights. But from there to here, the thing I admire about you is that your career, your journey, it was just never a straight line, Dom. From the very beginning, you had to battle and defy the advice of so many people who told you, first you were too small.
In England growing up, it's a cutthroat business, I say, and you kind of learn that early as a kid. Back in that day, unless you were 6'2" as a striker, you're not really going to make it. I'm at 5'9", 5'10" on a good day. And that's big for me because I was very, very short and I had a little late growth spurt. So I always wanted to get to 6 foot, but I'll take it.
As someone who's 6'7", when I try and think about your career, most savage moment I can imagine was when you were in a professional showcase in your late teens and you broke your metatarsal. The first metatarsal, I think you broke your metatarsal 3 times within 6 months. It wouldn't heal, and doctors took you aside and said, "You're never going to play football again." Just describe what happened.
After the 3rd time I broke it, I had an operation, and they said, it's healing, and I wouldn't really recommend playing sports. You tell that to a 17-year-old footballer, you're okay, I don't really know what to do here, so.
When I first interviewed you, you told me about that dark time, Dom. You said, I wasn't a good person around them. When you heard the news, a professional football career is not going to be yours. Was there one moment when you remember your low? Can you take us there?
Every kid in England has that dream to play, and all you
I
do is
still do.
Yeah, exactly. Even the big kids. And, you're watching TV and all you see is football every single day. It gets frustrating. I'm sitting there with a big old boot on my leg. You just don't really know your next direction. And as you all know, at 17, 18 in England, you have a choice where it's, you're either a professional now or you're going to go straight into work and a job.
But you stayed in England and you bounced from club to club. You were in a spiral. You went to the non-league level. You were at Staines Town. You were at Kings Lynn. Was there a moment in your life when you looked at yourself in the mirror and you thought, Dom Dwyer, there's going to be no career, there's going to be no fast car, there's going to be no adoring fans?
Honestly, no. I always knew that I wanted to do it. I didn't really know how I would get there.
But was there a moment at all when you thought about a plan B? This soccer thing, not going to work out for me. Maybe I should lose my hair and become a broadcaster.
I don't really know. I don't think so. My mum told me when I was, 9 or 10, I wanted to be an ice cream man. So I think just because I liked ice cream, I didn't really think that deeply into it. But yeah, that was been a different direction.
I've got to say, Ben and Jerry both listen to this pod. If Gwyneth Paltrow has taught us anything, it's that life is unpredictable. And that tiny moments can completely transform a person's fate. Your own sliding doors moment came out of nowhere to me, to be candid. You went for a trial. I found this story unbelievable, Dom. You went for a trial at QPR's training ground. There were US junior college scouts there looking for rough diamond English footballers. What do you remember of that day? What did you say to yourself when you turned up at that training ground about what was going to happen?
Well, I turned up with two of my mates. Really, it was the summer, and we couldn't find a game where we live, so we just heard this trial was going on, so we just wanted to go and have a kick around. You know, it wasn't that serious. I think we probably went to one of the colleges nearby the night before and went out and enjoyed ourselves. I'm pretty sure the next day we got there, we still had some like neon paint from the parties that we went to in our hair.
Tyler Junior College in Texas, they were the ones that came through for you. The Apaches! A lot of Apaches fans here tonight. They were a wonderful team, but they're not an ACC powerhouse. What did they promise you, and what did they tell you about what you were in for when you accepted?
They promised me if I played well my first year, then they would give me a scholarship the second year. Not much else, to be honest. They said they would take two of my mates as well, so cool.
You make
experience.
it sound like a Groupon purchase.
Yeah. It wasn't far from that, to be honest.
You arrived here. I'm sure a lot of people told you that your dreams of a professional soccer career, they were done.
Yeah,
just by virtue of you coming to America.
Yeah, I actually had a coach from Kings Lynn, and he said, you can play here, maybe in a couple of years you'll improve and you can maybe become a professional, or you can go to college in the US and, you know, have fun and party with your mates. You know, I kind of saw it a little different way, so cheers to him for that one. That was a decision I made where I could have signed, you know, non-league in England and lost that opportunity. As soon as you sign non-league, you can't come to college in the US. So I'm glad I made that decision.
Your coach at Kings Lynn was clearly one of the few Englishmen that has never seen American Pie. But what was you in your mind on that flight over to Texas? Were you like, this is a professional lifeline? Or were you like, a free education? Or were you just like, life adventure? Whatever happens, it's amazing.
I think it was a bit of both. My parents definitely wanted me to get the education. They kind of saw it as, okay, you probably don't have a future in football if, you know, the doctors are saying don't do it. For them, they were probably delighted that I'm, you know, continuing my education. Whereas in England, you'd probably go straight into work. Of course, it was a free degree, but they had to pay for my first year, so I definitely paid them back. But they
also know exactly what the ice cream industry is like in England. But you stepped off that plane. It's 2009. You, Dom Dwyer, you're in Tyler, Texas.
It was 4th of July as well. So it was.
You arrived here the 4th. I love
So
you.
I'm like, these guys are mad.
Oh my God. That's the opening scene of our
like,
movie that we're working on.
I thought there was fireworks every single night.
My God, you must have thought America was amazing. And you weren't wrong. You arrive in Northeast Texas, where they take 4th of July quite seriously. I know all of you are thinking, you're mouthing to yourself, that's the rose capital of America. Can you just describe the town for us, Dom? And how you experienced it through your eyes when you arrived? Give us a sense, set us there.
In England growing up, you kind of expect Dallas, Texas it was flying into. You kind of think sand, desert, tumbleweed. That's kind of what I thought. So I was like, is there grass there? You take a 2-hour drive to Tyler, Texas, and it's a little country town and a bunch of cowboys going around, and you know, they got their strong, strong accents. The Texas girls like the English accent a lot. So it's positive.
You've essentially just described Stoke to me. But I want to say, I've been in America now for 25 years. I moved here when I was 3. And I'm still thrilled by everything. I take nothing for granted. The gas stations amaze me. Your television channels, they blow my mind. Your supermarkets. I still walk through the aisles and I'm like, holy crap. Like in Liverpool, there was one kind of mushroom. It was canned mushrooms. You have like 87 varieties, and I'm like, America. Are you still like amazed by this place that you've landed in? Are you still in shell shock, cultural shock?
I'm a bit lost, to be honest. I'm waiting to wake up, and I need a little pinch sometimes. No, I'm not trying to be cheesy. It's actually honest. I didn't think that I would find, you know, my life here, and I'm very happy here. I'm sure I'll stay here for a long time.
This is a man that's clearly been for many dinners in the Cheesecake Factory. But what were your impressions of the football? How did it compare to the English game? Tactically, technically, competitively, how did it compare to what you were used to?
Technically, they weren't as good. Physically and fitness-wise, it was a different level. The US take that much more serious. You had a lot of talented players in England who maybe didn't have that discipline to add that fitness part to it as well. So I think I kind of learned that when I came to the US culture. And you have those really hard-working players who may not be as talented as Spain or whichever technically, but they seem to compete because of the work and the effort.
When I think about you in Tyler, Texas, I think about like, you're in a junior college. Professionals don't come out of Tyler, Texas. I look at you, I watch you play, being told you can't do this, Dom, it does seem to energize you more than any other human being that I've encountered in the professional sports environment. Because you thrived in Tyler. You starred on the 2009 team, the 2010 team, junior college championship teams. 41-0-1 was the record of that team while you were there. You're clapping the 2010 NJCAA National Player of the Year. You moved to South Florida. You were drafted in the MLS first round by a team called Kansas City. I'm reading off my script. I know. You played a total of 14 minutes in your first season. They dispatched you to a USL backwater, a third-tier team. They dispatched you to the bowels of American soccer. They dispatched you to USL Orlando City. You'd clap, but at the time, that was an insult from a Kansas City perspective. And when I first interviewed you, you told me how it felt to be a professional in MLS and then to be dispatched down below. You told me, you said, I took the field with a lot of hate. Describe those early Dom Dwyer professional games.
The hate wasn't towards Orlando, firstly. But you take it as an insult. I felt like I was ready to perform in the MLS, and you being told otherwise is difficult at times. And I actually didn't want to come down at first, and I said I wasn't going to come. But I was welcomed in so nicely, and obviously with a great coach and a great squad of players. And Adrian told me at the time that
Adrian Heath.
He said that.
Sorry, I forgot to give him his full name. Everton's Adrian Heath. Childhood hero of mine. I actually went to bed for 30% of my adult life with a poster of Adrian Heath above my bed.
Still is.
Yeah, it's still there.
He gave me the opportunity. I was very thankful for that, and I felt like I needed to repay him for something. He told me that he wanted me to come down specifically, and he picked me, and I was a bit upset about that because I thought maybe Kansas wanted to keep me there, but they didn't. It was just a fantastic experience. I loved every minute to play in the USL and play in front of 22,000 fans at the time.
It's astonishing. 22,000 fans in a USL setting. You were essentially playing angry. Even then you were English Diego Costa.
Gonna stick on that one, aren't you?
Or maybe he was Brazilian Spanish Dom Dwyer. We'll never know. But at that level, USL back then, you wash your own kit. Some of the times you're planning your own travel. Do you ever lose faith? Do you ever think, I'm not going to be a pro? Or is that something you always have to hold on to? If you let go of that, you're done.
Yeah, I think so. Any footballer who is playing professional, they know how difficult it is to get there. It's hard to stay there as well. That's part of it. The guys who arrive and think they've made it, they normally are quickly out.
You lead Orlando City to a USL championship. You lived my dream. You scored 15 goals in 13 games. 4 in the USL championship match against the Charlotte Eagles. You return to Sporting Kansas City. And the goals, they come easy. The team win the 2013 MLS Cup. You start in that game, 2 championships within a couple of months. You said at the time, you said it was like winning the championship and the Premier League in the same season. You ended up visiting the White House with the team. I don't know why the White House don't have the USL champions come to it.
Not sure if I'd go now, but that was...
When you were at the White House with your trophy, was that the moment that you felt, I finally belong?
Yeah, it was very surreal. All my friends were like, they let you in the White House. Little English kid running around with a kind of American accent, a little twinge. My parents were very proud. It was Obama too, so, you know, in England he was...
Do you remember him?
Yeah. In England, he was a cool president.
I think Sunil Gulati, he was the first cool president, right? Can we just take that so it sounds like you go, yeah! FIFA listen to this podcast. We're a bit afraid about the Moroccan World Cup 2026. You went on to score 58 goals, 136 appearances in Kansas City. It never seemed like for a second that you had taken success for granted, not for 1 minute.
You never really know when you played your last game or when you're not going to have another opportunity. So I think as a footballer, every time you get to step out on the pitch, there's that feeling that you get. And you know, I've talked to players that have finished playing, and they say that's what they miss the most. Not trainings, not all of that. It's that game and the atmosphere. And when you're playing, it's a special feeling. So it's not forever, as much as you might want it to be. So I try and make sure that I remember that. Every chance you get to play, it's an opportunity.
You once told me that you said, my life is all about this mantra. If someone tells you not to do something, do it. You have an incredibly mischievous, would that be fair to say?
That's pretty fair, yeah.
Something that, had you not become a professional footballer in a city that loved you, it could have gotten you into a lot of trouble.
Probably, yeah. I still get in a little bit of trouble, but it's just...
Has it been the secret to your success when you evaluate this journey?
The football world is a tough place sometimes, so you got to have kind of a hard head to stick with it. And I was just lucky enough to be around some really good footballers and people who care about me as a person as well. So they kind of helped me along the way. And CJ Sapong, Kai Kamara, those guys. I came to Kansas City and they took me under their wing and they just guide you the right way through life and make sure you're not getting yourself into trouble. And now I've done okay, and I got a nice, beautiful family.
When you think about success, you think about talent, and you think about mental commitment, two different qualities.
Yeah.
You've seen talented footballers flame out along the way.
Yeah.
What's more important?
I've seen so many talented footballers in England who are way more talented than me. They don't have a career. I think it's both. It's opportunity, it's a bit of luck, and then it's the mental side is probably the biggest part of football. I mean, you see some guys who are brilliant players and then, suddenly they just fall off or they, take a different direction. So you kind of have to... I had a guy tell me very early on in my career that, get yourself a family and get yourself a life outside of football, and it should keep you in the right place and, steer you on track.
A family, football, and a green card.
And a passport.
You've had a green card for 5 years. The goals keep flowing. Chatter starts as a joke to begin with about Dom Dwyer playing one day for the United States of America. As it is right now, I mean, Bradley Rowe Phillips has been through that cycle. Jack Harrison is just entering that cycle. English is the new German. But at what point do you move from, that's cool, that's funny, that's fandom, to this is a slim possibility, to that is what I am gonna do? Describe that emotional journey.
A difficult part for me was, I was committing to doing it with the US was, I'd given up on this English dream that I'd grown up on this idea of, play for England. It's what you tell your parents, it's what you tell your friends at school. And then as I've been in the US a lot more, I saw the passion of the fans, and it was, I've started to experience it a little bit more, and seen the players that have came in and out of that system, and when it becomes a reality, it's something that, as a player, you have to jump at that opportunity.
But when did it become a reality in your head?
It was after the World Cup when the US, I felt like they won.
1950 or 1990?
I think it was, one of those two. And when the team tied England in that game, I always think that they won that game.
2010 they did. They won by drawing.
Yeah. So that, I was in college at that time in the US, and I got a lot of stick for that because we were all, these cocky English kids. Oh, we're going to smash the US, and I'm pretty sure that's how everyone thought in England. And then you start to take the US seriously, and rightly so. And it was just an amazing experience just to, be in the US for it and see the reaction of the fans in the country and how they, they responded in such a positive way when then becoming, an MLS player and seeing the growth in the past, 4, 5, 6 years. I think it was 2014 where I realized that this is something that I definitely want to do. In England, you got to get in at 17, 18, or it's not going to happen.
When did the USA actually reach out and touch you and say, we're interested in you too? How does that happen? Who reaches out? What's the message?
It was probably the media. They say, is this something you would be interested in? And it's a no-brainer for me. I always said this line that, this country gave a lot to me, and I want to give something back. And if I can do it in football, then, that's where I think I can help.
By the way, I'm clapping because this is a man that has lived my dream. March 16th, 2017. You, Dom Dwyer, born Cuckfield, West Sussex, accompanied by your wife, Sydney LaRue. And then 6-month-old Cassius became an American citizen. I'm saying this as someone who this week has had their fingerprint test.
Oh, yeah?
And is, please God, one step away from becoming a citizen of this great nation, the United States of America. When you became an American citizen, can you describe how it feels? Because I started crying just being fingerprinted.
I didn't really get emotional or any way until I got there. I kind of realized what was happening and what I was doing. It was a special feeling. I was surprised of how I felt. I was very proud. My family supported me and they're proud of me too, and it's home for me now.
It is home for you, and you made that clear. July 1st, you did what I've been told by the guy that fingerprinted me will happen when I become a US citizen. You pulled on the jersey of the US men's national team. Unlike me, in my dreams, you only scored once on your debut against Ghana. I want to know, before kickoff, when you looked at yourself in the mirror, did you be like, Dom Dwyer, you have done it, dude. Despite the people that told you were done, you've done it. What did you feel?
Bruce said something as we went out, and he was like, there's no better feeling than playing for your country. And he was spot on. I didn't really know what I would feel, and then I put the shirt on, and I'm looking around at the players around me and trying to take everything in, and I felt very proud.
When you stood there for that national anthem, they trick us. They play us another one about the Queen when we're young. And then they play us the beautiful one that you all listen to. Before the Ghana game, the friendly, sincerely, what went through your mind?
As a kid growing up in England, the dream is just always to play for England. There's not baseball, basketball, football. There is football, but proper shaped one. And there's only one dream, is to play for your country. And obviously I came to the US and it was a brand new opportunity for me. So I am living out that dream, and to me now I'm playing for my country.
You thrive through that, and then after the group stage, Josie Clint arrived, Bruce Arena, he told you Peter Vermes wanted you back in Kansas City. There was an ominous sign. Peter Vermes wanted to tell you that you've been traded to the greatest of cities.
I should say it was mixed emotions, but I was delighted. It was always a dream for me to come back here, and after that 2013 year, I always knew I wanted to come back and hoped that I would, and now I'm here. It's time to do it.
Your poor wife engineered a move to Kansas City. How did she receive the news?
Not the best. Still hearing about it now, actually.
She tweeted, "Dom, get traded to Nordstrom FC. Hashtag find me in the per section."
Yeah, I had to get her a few little gifts and, soften the blow a little bit. Hopefully not too long, she'll be here as well. You didn't hear that from me.
You got a very good purse section here in Orlando. Orlando 2013, Orlando 2017, 18.
19, 20, 21.
Cassius, 32, 32, 34. How different a world is 2013 from Orlando 2017?
They showed me the plans of it in 2013, and it's everything they said and more. They promised a huge stadium. They promised it was going to be full every single week. They promised that they'd bring big players in, and there'd be a big club, and it's exactly what it is.
You arrive here on the training ground, new teammates. You were trying to kick the crap out of these guys the past couple of seasons. How is that psychologically?
For me, it's fine. I hope they're okay with it now. They seemed okay. I think we're all competitors. They welcomed me very warmly. It was nice. I didn't really know what to expect. It's my first club that I've moved from. And it's a special group I've joined. I know that the table says a little bit differently, but it's a very talented group of players, and I'm confident that we can get things turned around and put ourselves in the right position to be competitive.
Now, I need a bit more than that to make me believe. The reception here in Orlando Airport. Again, I'm going to edit this out the podcast. I didn't get that reception when I arrived this morning on the 9:47 flight from Washington, D.C. You were mobbed. That level of fandom for a man. You've been at Staines. You've been at Kings Lynn, both great clubs. You've been at Tyler, an amazing college, not one that projects elite DP MLS footballers. When you arrived here, were you like, yeah, this is something that I'm used to? Or were you like, this is a remarkable moment in my life?
It was a tough day, going away from your family and changing lives. My phone wasn't working throughout the whole flight. There was no Wi-Fi, so I didn't really know what was happening. And I had a text from my wife when I landed, and it said, you've got a bit of a welcoming at the airport. I was thinking there'd be 10, 15 people, and then the madness came around the corner, and I could hear you all before I could see you, and then every single hair on my body was standing up, most of them. It was very special, and it was very raw, so I appreciate every bit of it.
Was anyone here tonight at the airport? Dom Dwyer, your whole career as a human being, you were written off. You were told that you were not good enough. And then you arrived here. Do you think, yeah, Dom Dwyer, I'm here? Or do you think, Dom Dwyer, I'm here, I have to prove myself after all of my story all over again?
I definitely have to prove myself. I'm not going to look back in the past and achievements or goals, anything like that. This is a new adventure. This is a new journey. So it's not a given that I'm going to be successful here and that we're going to win. But it's something that I'm going to put every single piece of me that I can to help that happen for this club. And I have a belief that I really, really want to bring a championship to this city, and I believe that I will.
Where are you, in your mind, in the Dom Dwyer story? The English Landon Donovan, where are you?
I feel like I'm still improving. I'm still in that learning stage of my career where I want a coach to shout at me at training. I want to learn. I want to get better. I still get frustrated, and as a player, you're getting pissed off in training. I think you realize that you still really care and you want to get better. I think I still got the best years of me ahead of me. I hope so, anyway.
What do you dream about now? A man of dreams, unlike me, who actualizes his dream.
I
It's a leading question.
I'm confident in this club, and there's a reason that I want to be here and stay here, and I have very high hopes, like all of you as well, and I'm confident.
Your journey from Cuckfield, West Sussex, to Orlando, to international football, to be a father, to be a husband, and an American. It's been the opposite of a straight line, Dom. Yet you have done all of them. As a footballer, an MLS Cup winner, a US international, an all-star scorer against Real Madrid. When you think about your journey, what life lesson do you draw from it all?
Not to give up on your dreams and what you want to do. I think it's something that I would want to tell my son when he grows up, and to understand.
Arsene Wenger, have you heard of him? He once told, he's your future manager, by the way, Orlando. No. I gotta tell you. By the way, the 2021 Orlando Invincibles, you're gonna like that. You'll love that season. He said, we always speak about talent, intelligence, glamour, but tenacity is the common theme for every successful person in life. And I think about his words, and I think about you, Dom Dwyer. How do you relate to those words?
I think it's important to just want to be a footballer and want to improve. And I don't take for granted what I do. I love it. I feel like I'm very lucky. So it's when I step on the field, I turn into a bit of a different person, and sometimes I black out. Sometimes, so I try and be a bit extra nice off the field, because I can be a bit crazy on it sometimes. But that's just competitiveness, I guess.
We've finally gotten to the truth of the success of Dom Dwyer. We'll save that for our other podcast, Blackout in Everyday Society. May your second time in Orlando bring a repeat of the goals and the glory of the first. I want to say that we wish you, your wife, and your son, the greatest goal scorer in American footballing history, Cassius, and your team, Orlando City. Can we wish them all Godspeed?